And I'm so pleased and grateful to have you joining me today to share your recovery story. Firstly, let's just introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, and who you are, basically.
Yes, so I'm married to my husband Rob, been married for 16 years. We have two beautiful kids, Sophia, who's 16, and William, who's 13. And yeah, we live in West Hobart, been here for about 17 years. And I've been a teacher for 25 years this year, coming up to July. Yeah.
Teachers are unsung heroes, I have to say. I have a beautiful friends and family who are teachers, and you go above and beyond, and that in itself can be a very stressful job, as well as just being a parent. So um, good on you for doing that, and yeah, well done. Just really admire teachers in particular. Thank you for sharing that. So you're a fellow Tasmanian. I'm also from Hobart, Tasmania. So Ange and I don't actually live that far apart, which is so
Mhm.
lovely to be able to connect. But the issues that we're sharing and talking about today is something that is worldwide, that affects for every one man that is affected by autoimmune issues, in particular fatigue, thyroid, and other autoimmune issues. Two women are affected for every one man. And so this is a huge, huge issue. So I thank you so much for, again, sharing your story today. Tell us a little bit about what you were going through before you came to from Chronic to Cured Wellness, and you came to me and you joined the Chronic to Cured Collective Recovery Program. Just a bit of an overview of where you were before you joined.
Yes. Well, I'd been quite unwell in 2018, and I believe that came out of the loss of my grandmother and the loss of my best friend. So I was going through a lot of grief, and then a few months, it was sort of all within 6 months of happening. Um, and then I had, excuse me, a student attack me in the classroom. And so I think those three events just caused my body to sort of go into a bit of a shutdown mode. I had lots of flus, sinusitis, I got tonsillitis. And then I slowly sort of started to go downhill whilst trying to keep working full time. I was taking more days off. Um, so then 2019, really bad flu, body started to sort of really slow down. It was like a really slow battery, sort of running out of energy. But I still had that get up and go. But yeah, my energy was definitely dropping. And then by the time of COVID, I think in that year that was very stressful for everyone. And yes, that's when I ended up having to take time off. Got back up in 2021, full time on a class. But then once again, I think my energy just dropped right off, and I just ended up sick again. Got back up on the horse, dropped off again. And then we got to November of 2022, where I ended up in hospital. So it was just that toing and froing of um, just trying different things, trying to get back, um, and ended up in hospital with really bad migraines, and I was just unable to walk um, or communicate really.
Yeah.
That's what happened in the end. My body just completely dropped out and shut down. Yeah.
And through all of this, were they able to provide you with any real answers as to what was going on?
No, look, I had a very trusted doctor who's now retired. She was beautiful, but she was looking at other areas that I don't think was quite right for me. We were trying so many different things,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't the right fit. And even though I'd known her for years and she was great, really great communicator, we worked really well. it just wasn't right, and I just knew that it wasn't right, that
Yeah.
there was something else going on.
Yeah.
It was a very frustrating time.
To try and find the right answers for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Which also would have added to the stress of it as well, like a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and then being a mum and being a wife as well. Yeah, and the teaching, so, yeah,
Yes.
it was very hard.
How were you feeling throughout this time, not being able to do what you wanted to do and have the energy that you wanted?
Well, I'm very much a get up go person, so that was really hard
Yeah.
because, um, I guess as the mum too, you're always on the go, you're always doing so much, and then my poor husband realised just how much I was doing, and so there was frustration there with him, and I could see that, but I was so foggy-headed and so unwell that I was just miserable from the inside out, and I couldn't do anything. So I just couldn't do anything, and I think he was expecting me to get up out of bed, but I just couldn't. I was just living in bed.
Yeah.
Really, that was it.
I have goosebumps because I really do understand
Mm.
what that's like as well. That it is a debilitating fatigue, and the viral autoimmune issues. They just they fluctuate, and it seems like there's no end with that
Yes.
feeling.
It was like I was in a box and I couldn't get out, and everything was all muffled around me and all blurry and, yeah, the foggy-headedness, everything. It's
You
just
you weren't able to do just daily basic tasks, and struggled with looking after your family, and be there for your husband and do your work. You were limited, weren't you?
absolutely. He had to help me shower in the early months,
Yeah.
and get me to and from the toilet. That was the state that I was in.
Mm,
When I look back now, it's just unbelievable.
yeah.
But that was the situation, just chronically tired, just
Yeah.
unable to do anything. Yeah.
Well, looking back, you have come a long way. You found the Chronic to Cured collective.
Yeah.
So what was your thinking when you came across me and from Chronic to Cured Wellness, and the program? What was your thinking at the time as to why you joined?
Well, I saw your lovely article, and it just really resonated with me. It was in the local paper, and I I read your story, and it just resonated so clearly for me. And I had tried everything else, but when I started to investigate, I really felt that this could be it. I was just so excited,
Yeah.
and yeah, I thought, yep, because I've just been trying so many things over and over, and lots of new things, and I just went for it
Yeah.
because yeah, it was so true to what I was going through.
And what aspects about the program in particular did you think, this could really help me, and that seemed appealing and at the time for you?
I think being a mum, that was a big one because I was really feeling mum guilt, and the fact that you were a mum, not that that's the be all end all, but that was the strong
Yeah.
connection there,
Yeah.
and being female as well. Um,
Yeah.
and I think, um, just looking at the program itself and how, step by step, working through things and at my own pace, and I've just felt that that was a good way to go,
Mm.
for me, and that everything that was outlined, just sounded doable for me
Yeah.
as I was slowly trying to get back to the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like something for me that I could really work on and achieve.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm pleased that they were the things that resonated, because that's ultimately what I'm wanting to help with. There are so many things in the world that medicine can't provide, and that's how we look after each other and ourselves at home. And they are probably one of the most important aspects to your overall health. But I think for me, what what made me realize about what I could put into the program for you and to help you with is that there are specific combinations of wellness tools that help you to go after the root cause.
Mm.
And I think, did you find that beneficial, that
Yes.
you were looking at a root cause, you had experienced viral symptoms over and
Mm.
over again, you mentioned?
Yes. So it just seemed to me it was a way of stopping that cycle and just trying to get my head around what was going on for my body and the fact that food food is medicine, and that really resonated with me as well,
Yeah.
looking at the food aspect. And so learning about the triggers, that's been huge. That's been a huge one for me, and
Mm.
yeah, it's just amazing the difference.
That's so good. It's all so, so important. And thank you for sharing that. Now we've talked about sort of where you were and what what you thought at the time that brought you to the program. So share with us now how you are doing now, how it feels, and what you've been able to accomplish now, looking back from where you were.
Yeah, so now I'm able to um, do the chores around the house. I can vacuum, I can clean, I can cook as
Yeah,
well, which
yeah,
I really loved, and I've gotten a new passion into that as well. Um, just being there for the kids, and going for walks. That was the big one for me, getting back into the energy to be able to exercise and go for walks.
which you
That's
weren't able to do at all, were
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
And the other big one was choir. I attend choir rehearsals for 2 hours a week, and then we have performances every few months. I wasn't able to do that. I tried it through Zoom. It's just not quite the same. But now I can actually last those 2 hours again and get through
Yeah.
without, yeah, without having to sit down like an old nana.
I get that feeling too. You feel like you are stuck in the body of a 90-year-old when you're dealing with those terrible symptoms. So I do understand that.
Yeah.
And are you back at work now?
Oh, yes. So I'm back at work. Initially, it was a morning, which then led to half day, then a full day. So coming up to April, I'll be 3 full days.
Oh my goodness. This
So
is
it's just amazing to go from being off work for about 7 months in bed
yeah.
to now being able to do 3 days, and then hopefully see how I go, but build that up.
And how would you feel? How do you feel like generally with your energy um, and throughout the week and more of a balance?
Yes. So I was doing a morning and I was just so exhausted. I was coming home and just having to sleep.
Mm,
But slowly over time, I feel that my recovery has just improved so much, to the point now where I'm looking forward to bringing on more work, but not pushing myself, but just knowing that I can pop that on my plate and will be okay,
yeah.
if that makes sense.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
can feel where I'm at now, and I know that I can do that, whereas I was really hesitant before.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
the idea of doing anything can be overwhelming if it expends energy that you don't have. But
Yeah.
now uh, you don't have that overwhelm at those ideas of the things that you can do and
No.
you do.
Yeah.
That's so
And
exciting.
to also be able to do stuff at home. So there's that balance. I feel like there's that balance back again.
And how has it been with your family now compared to where you were?
Yeah, so much better. It was so difficult. I think the kids, they're pretty clever. They got it.
Mm,
But you just worry about how that might have affected them. And I think they were just really worried about me. I was worried about them. But we got through it. And I think it's been a lesson for all of us, really. And my husband too. So I think it's made all of our lives more richer and better in a way that we're picking up the slack for each other and looking out for each other a bit more. And I'm not doing so many things that I was before. It was crazy when we realized,
The balance as to where you are.
yes, it's more balanced. Yeah.
That's the thing is, and one of the things that I share and try and help in people to understand is you don't actually want to go back to your pre-sickness lifestyle, because unbeknownst to you at the time, it's not necessarily it's not the root cause of that fatigue and the autoimmune issues, but it would have been a big trigger living in that constant lifestyle and the survival mode and doing so much. And then there's the unforeseen things, the traumas and grief that come along as well.
Yes.
But this way, do you feel like you would be able to take on anything at the moment because you're in a more balanced state?
Yes, absolutely. And I think my mental health along with that has improved, and the brain fog. And yeah, I just feel more balanced overall, which leads to better outcomes, doesn't it? Because
Yep. And
yeah,
that's how that we naturally should be in life, in
yeah,
universe, isn't it? Just to find that balance. If you this is what you would have been like when you were first um unwell, and myself and anyone who's in that unwell state, they've got so much um going on up here. It's just an overload and not enough of what the body needs to help itself, and
yes,
difficult when you don't have the right answers, you don't know what's going on, you don't understand, you don't know what to do. And it can be very frustrating. And I think for you, did you find it also helpful and perhaps even empowering that you're doing this for yourself? You're taking back control. You're
yes.
not reliant on doctors and medications and things like that.
Yeah, that's true. That was very empowering. Yeah. Because so much money was being spent. I was just desperate.
Mm.
Um, and so yeah, that was, when I think on it, yeah, that was really empowering to be able to do that for myself.
And now if something happens in the future, do you feel the confidence that you would know what to do to be
Mm,
able to help yourself long term?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that's my ultimate goal. It's not just about helping you recover, it's giving you everything that you need to stay recovered. It's that drastically reducing any chance of you ever being chronically ill again with
yeah.
everything that you've got. So no matter, even if you do happen to, get a mild cold, because we're human
Mhm.
bodies, we're organisms that are still vulnerable, and they can, become unwell. But how do you feel now about taking that on if that does happen?
No, I feel very confident, and I feel that I'm on a very strong path for my health, and I don't feel like that can be wavered. I'm not going to turn around and go backwards, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm really on this path, and it's for the betterment of my health. And yeah, that's it. I'm not going to go back. But of course, life gets in the way. You might have a few stumbles here and there, but I feel what I've learnt from your program, that I can just get back on again, just get back, like you're saying, if you have a cold, I feel like I can get through that and
Yeah,
just stay back on that path. And because there's no other path I want to be on but this one, because
yeah.
I've just, yeah, I just feel so good. So, so good.
You've come such a long way. Part of the program is the wellness trackers, and you've done really
Um,
well with the filling out the wellness trackers every week. And the purpose of that is so that you can, review yourself where you're currently going and rate your level of health and all the different levels of health out of 10. And you have an average overall health rating, where 1 is where you are, bedridden, housebound, terrible fatigue, pain, and 10 is where you are generally balanced and you can do pretty much all tasks and you sleep well and there's no issues. And when you first started, your baseline wellness tracker rating was like a 1.7 out of 10. So it was
Yeah.
really, really low. And what you've described with what you were going through at that time pretty much resonates with that level of health. And now the most recent wellness tracker that you've provided, in just the few short months that you've been with the program, you're almost at a 7 out of 10
Yeah.
from a 1.7.
Yeah.
It's generally, anywhere from a 7 to a 10. You are no longer chronically ill, and
Mm. Yeah. See,
how's that
I
sound?
need to, I know that sounds amazing. I need to acknowledge that. And yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yep. You're no longer chronically ill.
Yeah.
And that is a huge, huge thing. And so I really want you to celebrate that and do
Yeah.
something for yourself and share it with the family. And thank you for sharing this with me today and with us in the From Chronic to Cured Wellness community. A final question is, what would you say to someone who is looking for a recovery program, but they're not sure if the Chronic to Cured Collective is right for them? What would you say?
Oh, I'd say just go for it because it just makes so much sense to me. And I think once you start, those small changes, it's just almost instantaneous. Just the lift that you get and the support from yourself. Because I think the way that you've organised the program is so great, Therese. It's just so good. Um, and it's just really easy to follow and just yeah, I can't thank you enough, really.
Oh,
Yeah, I
thank
really
you
can't
for
thank you enough.
allowing me to help you. Thank you so much for trusting me with that.
Yeah.
And I can only do so much. I can share with you the information, but I can't do it for you, unfortunately. So there is that aspect where
Yeah.
you which is that empowering aspect. You're taking back control of your own health. But it does require that commitment and taking action and the consistency, which
Yes.
you have done and you've seen the results in, because these are like habits, aren't they? They're recovery habits. We are habitual creatures, and we can get stuck in habits that no longer serve us. And we want to be able to create new habits that are helping, and they're helping more than hindering. And this is exactly what you've done, but it takes time to reprogram those old habits and bring in
Mm.
the new ones. And you've done a fantastic job with that, to the point where now, would you say that they're now just a part of your normal daily routine?
Yes,
It's
definitely.
the
Yeah.
difficulty of building those habits initially can be hard, um,
Yes.
but then they become part of the norm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's now part of my norm. And the kids, my husband are aware now because initially there was a bit of toing and froing and rubbing up against each other with different foods and
Yeah.
different ideas. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely part of my life now. And so I would just say to people to just give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. It's just changed my life.
Well done. Well done. I'm so proud of you as a coach, if I can say that, and just a fellow human. You've done an incredible job. You are an inspiration. What you've achieved is not is something that anyone can achieve if they
Mm.
choose to do this for themselves, if they're committed, like we said, and you just stay consistent. These are things that are helping you with your health, with helping with your, going after that root cause, the viral load, the toxic load that's causing that dysfunction, and helping you holistically, isn't it? Because it's not just a
Yeah,
physical thing and nutrition. There's all levels of your health that you found benefit in, which is,
absolutely. Yes. The sleep was the big one. And I think once one falls into place, then everything else works.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, very, very much very much about a balance for so many different aspects. And
Mm.
um, I want to just quickly, the very last question: what would you say is your favorite part about the Chronic to Cured Collective?
Um,
So, I mean, there's a few different aspects to it.
yeah,
Favorite part?
I think, connecting with others and hearing their stories, I think that's been really powerful, and being able to, even though online situation, that was really empowering for me, because it prompts me and gets me, reminding me of what I need to do, and gets me thinking outside of my own self. Sort of gets me out of my own head as well, and just reminds me, "Oh, stay on this path."
Yeah.
Um, but also the food was wonderful too, because I had struggled for such a long time with finding the right recipes. I was trying vegan, I was trying vegetarian, but I was still getting sick, and so now to know, some amazing recipes that you've got there that I can whip up myself, that's been really empowering too. But those 2 aspects really for me.
Awesome. I'm so pleased because I'm all about trying to have things there that are helpful for every one of you. And for me, it was also about what to eat as well. It was a big aspect of that. And so I was almost on a mission to try and find foods and recipes that were simple to make, but that were also delicious. And a lot of you are dealing with family as well. So family friendly recipes. So to be able to have that there for you guys and for me, because I use them all myself, is really helpful. And it's not just about being, vegan or paleo or keto or just gluten free. It's this is about using specific food as medicine and removing specific foods that are causing inflammation. So the recipes that can be, if you are vegan, there are recipes for vegans in there, vegetarians, for all uh, food preferences, I guess you could say.
Mm,
But they're recipes that help, not hinder. So it doesn't matter, it's sort of something that can be incorporated into whatever food preferences you have. And I'm so pleased that you've come on board. You've seen the improvements that you've made that you can do for yourself, and you've come such a long way. I'm so proud of you, so pleased. And thank you so much, Ange, for sharing your story. This will hopefully be able to allow others to see that this is what's possible for them, and that, there is a way that they can break free from the debilitating symptoms that they're dealing with, and they don't have to do it alone.
yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Therese.
Thanks, Ange.